All right, thank you everyone for joining us today. Today we're going to talk about free, low cost, well worth it lead generation ideas. Some of them you know, some of them you may not have considered. I'm not going to go into necessarily all of the possible lead gen options out there. Um, but as we go along, if something we talk about has worked for you or you've seen it done at a very well executed high level, let's talk about that because I'm curious about your ideas too. Most of these I have done at some point, right? This is my 21st year, so I've tried pretty much all of these at some point. And I have certain opinions about them, but that's just because it's me. So things that may not have worked for me might work for you. So the main thing is, when you're looking at lead gen, it's not strictly speaking about the numbers, right? You want to have a certain number of people in your pipeline or in your database, because the more people you have in your database, the more likely you are to get business out of those things. So that's part of the numbers game there. But it's not about quantity so much as it is about quality. Remember, we're building relationships here. We want people to know, like, and trust you to handle one of the largest financial decisions of it. So um, we also want to approach it within that mindset of being a giver, right? It's one of those things that Brian Buffini especially talks about. It so does BNI, the Business Networking Group, of the giver's gain, right? You give it out in slices, it comes back to you in loaves, kind of thing. So if we are um, sort of free to give of our time and our knowledge up to a point, right? We're not going to show houses for free and write contracts for free. But if people have questions about market data, right? We will share that information with them. If they want to know, like, what's the best thing to, what are the best things to do for spring spruce up, right? We'll tell them, kind of thing. What's going to give me the most return on the investment for my house when I go to sell? We will tell them, right? So you give that information because you want to build their trust and be seen as the expert. Um, always, I'm Mr. Gratitude. Always be grateful for the contacts that you make. I very frequently follow up with a new relationship with a card, a personal note to say it was great to meet you. Look forward to our paths crossing again. Look forward to seeing you at the next event, something like that. Um, Let me turn off the notifications here because I'm starting to get buzzes and whatnot. And then, probably most critical, it is all about your attitude, right? So you want to be excited about meeting people. You want to be excited about getting to know them at a deeper level. We are so privileged that we get to do this, right? For those of you that were here, I think everyone pretty much was here for our sales meeting the other day. What I said in my toast, I mean, we're right on the front lines of the American dream. This is big stuff, and we should be excited about that, right? It is a tough business, right? We are entrepreneurs. We wake up every day unemployed. But the other side of that is we're putting people in homes. We're helping them sell their biggest financial investment and achieve their next goals. I mean, how cool is that? So we want to make sure that we keep some excitement there. Now that said, especially for the newer agents, it's I always like to go back to the old band roll-on deodorant commercial, right? Never let them see you sweat, right? So outward, we want to make sure we project confidence, calm, cool, collected. We're excited. Come back here in-house to us and pull your hair out. I have no more hair, right? I've done a lot of this over the years. So feel you have a community here. If you want to come cry and complain and scream, we got you, right? If you just want to vent, we got you. We're also here to help you solve the problems for your clients, right? So just, again, outward, we're excited. This is wonderful. So there's a long list of ways that you can generate business in your database. Number one is calling people. As hackneyed as that is, this is what we call a contact sport. right? We want to make sure that we are in contact with people. Um, and make sure you start with a clean database, right? Every year, what we do on my team is, and this is actually throughout the year, we continually revise and update the database. Who really is worthwhile to have in the database? Who really is worth my time to call? You know, is it someone that is going to refer me business? Is it someone that might do business with me? Is it someone that, you know, is just, I've been reaching out to them for 20 years and have never heard back? Maybe it's time to reevaluate their category in the database, their position in the database. Make sure you have clean information. You know, one of these things you can do is when you're calling people that you know, see if I have a correct email address for you. Every time someone reaches out to me and they want something, you know, sometimes it's if it's a past client, it's like, hey, I need a copy of my survey. All right, let me see if I have that in the file for you. By the way, what's your best email address? I could be emailing with them in that moment, but I want to make sure that I have the best email address. And sometimes, like, you know, I have everything sent to work these days. I'll just give you my work email address. Or, you know, Gmail peeved me off and, you know, I'm now on a Hotmail or something like that. So, you know, sometimes people get locked out of their emails and things like that. Or if you're emailing with someone, you know, feel free to say, hey, what's your best phone number in case I need to call you? Most of the time, they're fine to give it to you, right? And that's their option, right? Don't get all wound up in, oh, I'm not going to bother them. Oh, I'm not going, you know, I don't want to be a pain. If they don't want to talk to you, guess what? They're not going to answer the call. And it could be because they're busy, right? So just bear that in mind. Um, when you talk with people in ninja selling, we tell people to listen for points of pain, listen for points of pleasure, right? What is a pain point in their life right now? Is that something that I can help with, right? We just had this here a minute ago with Jenny, right? She has a friend who her husband passed away. She needs to sell the house. There's a lot of stuff to do, right? Point of pain. She needs to get her house in order. We can help her by recommending an organizing company, right? Point of pleasure, right? How many times have you seen on Facebook or called someone, oh my God, we're pregnant? Great. They might need a bigger house in the near future, right? So listen for those points of pleasure, points of pain. Listen for life changes, right? Pregnancy, graduation, deaths, marriage, divorces. Those often will indicate a real estate need. And here's one, especially when kids are going off to college. This was presented to me years ago, and I've been given this advice forever. If you know people that have kids going off to college, so file this in your memory bank for like May, when in June, when kids are graduating and heading out, or if they're going back to college. Check with your tax professional, but something that was explained to me years ago is that if mom and dad buy a place for the kid to live in Blacksburg or Charlottesville or Harrisonburg or wherever, they can then hire their child to be the property manager and collect the rent from his roommates, make sure the money gets to mom and dad, report on problems that may need to be fixed, right? Does it sound like a property manager to you? Collect the rent, work on fixing problems, take care of the property. So then, because they're going to give the kid money anyway, right? So it's like, okay, so we're going to pay you our, I don't even know if $200 a month does it anymore, but we're going to pay you $200 a month for your pizza money. You make sure that if anything breaks down, you tell us. And so they get the tax write-off of an investment property, the tax write-off of having someone on the payroll, you know, and the appreciation of someplace in a college town that, you know, will probably stay rented. I had clients do this over here at ODU. Pretty much paid for their retirement home out in West Virginia. Other ways with the calls, I've advocated this a long time, just your really, just your check-in, right? And I talk about Dennis Clancy all the time. Old guy, former Rotary member with me. He is like doubly retired. He is so far retired that he's not going anywhere doing anything, but he talks on the phone. And years ago, he called me and I was like, well, Dennis Clancy, my goodness, how are you? And he's like, well, I'm just calling to say hello. So, I got checked in on. He was calling to check in on me. And he said, and I quote, I was thinking to myself, I wonder how Jeremy's doing. And I thought, well, I should just call him and ask. So, Jeremy, I'm calling and asking, how are you doing? I was so honored in that moment. And you know what? He did that again a couple of weeks ago because the Christmas card he sent to me got returned. He's like, well, I know you're still around. I see you on Facebook, but I'm just wondering, like, do I have the right address? I mean, why isn't he in real estate? Right? He's doing it right. Do I have the right address? Oh my goodness, I'm concerned, right? You want to be a pal. You also want to be consistent with your calls, create a daily routine with anything you do, create a daily routine, be consistent, right? Be genuine, right? Don't do the Mike Ferry thing of, hey, you want to sell your house or what? Call with genuine care and concern. Also with your database, again, Real Estate 101, send them a CMA. In Ninja, we call it a real estate review. We'll talk a little bit more about another way to do it, but like, hey, here's what's going on in your neighborhood. And you can build out some more data from that. You can pull some, not only neighborhood information, but maybe city information, right? RAIN has all kinds of data. You get the question or the pushback every now and again. Well, I appreciate the call, but I'm not really ready to sell my house. That's okay. I'm here for when you are, but I just wanted to check on you. But by the way, what would be the number that you would sell your house at? Everyone almost says $1 million, right? So you say, if I could get you $1 million, would you be serious about selling? I guess I'll have to talk it over with my spouse, but maybe. Like, okay, I'll let you know when your house is worth $1 million and then we'll talk again.
I didn't
Right.
know where you were going with that.
Right.
But, yeah.
So then what's your next action? Go back to the CMA, say like, hey, is the house worth $1 million? They may be worth $1 million too. So then you call them back next week and you say, Bob, guess what? Your house is not only worth $1 million, but based upon the data I'm seeing, I think you get 1.2 for it. I'm still not ready to sell, but are you serious? If they're not ready to sell, what other recommendations could you give to them? If all of a sudden they realize their house is like, oh my God, it's worth so much more than I thought. If it's financial investment, how should they protect it?
Insurance.
Recommend they talk to their insurance person or get them connected to Kathy Ryan here at Long and Foster Insurance and say, with your house being worth more than you thought it was, you may want to check to make sure you're covered. Here's someone I work with. Feel free to give them a call.
Made 15 calls last week, wishing people a
Happy snow day.
New Year, Happy New Year. And if they wanted the equity evaluation, and for just that reason.
Because you could always, if once you get into this vein, and in this mode with these calls, you can have all kinds of conversations, right? And when you are providing value and being of service to them, they're going to love that, right? Because more often than not, I approach real estate conversations almost jokingly. Like, yeah. I'll sell your house eventually, even if you're dead, I'll still be here. But let me tell you what's going on now. Let me tell you what we're working through in this area of real estate, right? And you got all kinds of things that are coming at you all the time. Read your Realtor magazine. You probably get the Realtor newsletter from Hurrah. There are great little nuggets of information there. When you read these articles, if it jogs your memory to say, oh, I was just talking with someone the other day about this, let me reach out to them and say, hey, I just read this article. Here's a little bit more information on that. I just wanted to pass that along, and just leave it there. You don't have to do anything further. It's like, I saw this, I wanted to share it with you. There you go. You know, if they have other questions, talk to them about the other questions. Again, with your database, handwritten notes. So when you follow up on the call, right? So Dennis called me about the Christmas card and I gave him my better address. As soon as I got on the phone, dear Dennis, thank you so much for calling today. It's always great to talk to you. Give my love to Donna Marie. Hugs and kisses, Jeremy. Lick the stamp, put it in the mail. We don't lick stamps anymore. That's gross. But it's that easy, right? Other engagement with your database, e-newsletter, right? We have various things within the Long and Foster ecosystem that you can send out. There's our REIN Rain Agent Home Matters newsletter. Patrick sends out a monthly, Patrick Bain, our CEO, sends out a monthly item of value newsletter. You know, you can post that on your social media. You can create a blog post with that. You can send it out as an email. In addition to the CMA, you can do a professional equity assessment report. This is a Tom Ferry thing. Professional equity assessment report. And this is looking at a deeper level of not only what is the home worth, but how much equity do they have in their house, right? So if you've sold a house to them a few years ago, you have that settlement statement and you know, it's like, okay, based upon what you paid for the house, the cash that you put into it at closing, if any, maybe a 20% down payment, maybe 3.5% if it's FHA. And based upon the value now, you should have X number of dollars in equity. Now, if they've refinanced and taken money out, or if they've refinanced and paid off some debts or whatever, that may change that equation just a little bit. But looking at what they paid for it and the amount of equity they had at closing, because as soon as you put 20% down, you now have 20% equity in your home, right? Because you're investing that cash, you're blocking that cash in the investment of your home. So from there, how much has the value grown? So you say, okay, well, you bought it for $250, you mortgaged $220, that's $30,000 in equity, and now it's worth $300. So do the math, and here's where you sit with this much equity in their home. They may not realize that. That may trigger a conversation too about private mortgage insurance, right? Because at a certain point, when their FHA loan, or conventional if they have PMI, reaches a certain threshold in equity, that PMI can drop off. But a lot of times you have to ask for it. So you can go to them and say, hey, you know, you might want to check with the mortgage company and see if their valuation numbers say the same thing mine do, because you might be able to save a few bucks a month by getting your PMI taken care of and dropping it off. Past clients, including rental clients. I know a lot of us work with renters. Who remembers the numbers I posted the other day in the group? It's kind of dismal, right? The majority of buyers and sellers out there would be happy to use their agent again. Something like 30% actually remember their agent's name. And what was the even worse number about the people who actually use their agent again?
8 or something?
I think it was 17%, or something ridiculously depressing, right? So all of this is in that vein to make sure you stay engaged, right? Even your out-of-town clients, right? If you know people that have moved away, or if you've moved away from somewhere, stay in touch with them, because you can always connect them to someone wherever they are, right? Don't know anyone in Boise, Idaho? Guess what? I do, right? I'm a walking Rolodex over here. Jenny and I are part of the Buffini network. Long and Foster has a massive network of almost 10,000 agents. We know people in every market, or we will be able to find the right people for you. So yeah, wherever your people are moving to, we can help them and get a referral fee. Other notes I have here. Again, and this is great planning. If you haven't had your first sale yet, you make sure you mark down the date they close, because a year from now you want to celebrate that, right? We call it a house anniversary, right? Jenny, what do you do for house anniversary?
Leave them a little bottle of champagne.
Little mini bottle.
Mini
It
bottle.
has like 2 sips in it.
Yeah.
We're not going hog
Right,
wild, right?
yeah.
We've already spent the commission money,
Yeah,
so we don't have much of a
right.
budget. Right, so mark the house anniversary. Mark their birthday, mark their kid's birthday, put it all in your calendar, right? How many people still get physical birthday cards in the mail? Remember how excited you were when grandma or grandpa would send you a card, or your aunt or uncle, maybe get like a $5 bill or something? I'm not sending $5 bills to anybody, but I'm still sending birthday cards. And I think this is a Christmas card, but let me show you this from Jeff Wu. If I can spell the name right. So Jeff, now he's an agent, but I treat other realtors in my network just like I do my clients, right? Because they're going to refer business to me, right? So let's see if the crowd can see this. There's a picture of Jeff there. He got my Christmas card. He was so excited to show me. It's like, I got your card. He sent me a selfie with the Christmas card. I have buyers that will send a picture of their birthday card, or clients that will send a picture of the birthday card, and it's like, thank you so much, right? I've had it posted on Facebook on their person, because like, my realtor just sent me the nicest birthday card. They tag me. I can't pay for advertising like that. Anniversaries, any special event in their life. I have a whole drawer at home. I like Hallmark. I have cards for every occasion. I even have cards for when people's pets pass away. And I unfortunately had to send one this week.
So what, do you just buy like a ton of cards? and keep them in
Absolutely.
your-
Dollar Tree is the best.
Oh,
2 for
true.
50
Yeah.
cents.
Really?
Because
2 for $1, I'm sorry.
2 for $1,
50
yeah.
cents.
50 cents a
My-
piece.
my- sorry.
But because, so what happens when you see something like that, right? So it's like, oh, I heard that so-and-so just had a baby. I should send them a card.
Hmm.
When are you going to Hallmark? Have you been to Dollar Tree yet? You forget about it. But if you have them at hand, you can go ahead and say, thinking about it, let me grab it right now, lick the stamp, put it in the mail, off we go.
Do you put your card in there, or is that too much?
I do not.
Yeah.
I do not. I have a whole nother system for that, but if you have a descriptive return address label on the back, they'll know who it comes from, and
Okay.
so you put your name, the office, Long and Foster, the office address, things like that, maybe the logo, that's like, oh, that's right, David from Long and Foster sent me a card, kind of thing.
That's
So,
nice. That's a good way to do it.
and that's a nice little touch.
Classy.
It's classy kind of thing, not over like, oh, I'm sorry your uncle died. Here's my business card. He needs to sell his house. Never too busy for your late relatives referrals. So also with you past clients and anyone else, and again, we talked about looking for points of pleasure, looking for points of pain. Remind them that you have plenty of vendors that you can help. You can refer to them, right? If someone's like, oh, oh my God, I can't wait for this snow to go away because we're looking to replace our deck. Like, oh, you're gonna do that yourself, or you're hiring someone? Well, we've been interviewing people. Oh, well, I have some great people I've worked with. I'm happy to send you their names and numbers, right? I always tell people, and this is the truth, that these people that I recommend have worked for me specifically. They have been in my home, they have done work on my house. And if you have any problem with them, you let me know. Now, some of these vendors I'm referring, I've known since they were children, so there's that too. That's the benefit of growing up around here. It's like, I went to junior high and elementary school with your mom, so don't even try that kind of thing. But also, if you get if you get a recommendation from your clients, like, oh no, I got this guy in the neighborhood, he's done several decks, and it's like, great, give me his name. If you're happy with him, I'm happy to add him to my list of people, right? Now they're helping you. How cool is that?
Yeah.
Right? They want to be part of the success and part of the process. Circle prospecting is always a fun one. Circle prospecting is where you target a specific property in the neighborhood and then you sort of work a circle around it, right? One of the best people on this is Ricky Carruth, Carruth. He has all kinds of YouTube trainings and things like that. Now he's very much pushing Red X software. So just be careful about what you buy, and know that other people are doing it too. But so think about an open house, right? You have the house right here, and the circle prospecting can say, okay, you want to reach out everyone in a circle around it. So maybe 5 houses to the left, 5 houses to the right, the 10 across the street, and maybe the 10 across the back. You can send a postcard to them. I think Terrence has been doing door hangers. So you can do door hangers, say, hey, we're having an open house at 123 Sesame Street this weekend. If you're doing the open house next weekend and, go by this weekend while people are out and about, right? We have open Saturday, open Sunday riders here in the office that you can put up, and just say, you can door knock if you want to. If they don't want to talk to you, they won't answer the door. Easy as that. Leave them a little note. Say, hey, having an open house this week. Come on by. I'll have cookies. Typically, according to NAR, and the good thing about circle prospecting is this: NAR found that when a house sells, 3 of the owners in the closest 20 houses is likely to sell within the next year.
We'll send out just listed and just sold postcards for free for you,
Or up to 100.
up to 100.
You can pay and do more. They come through Quantum Digital Trigger Marketing
I'll
cards.
show you guys.
Yeah.
You guys, have you utilized the circle prospecting?
I've dabbled in it.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it's been mildly fruitful for me. So the main thing here is, so the way I approach everything, I spend all this money and test these things out so that you don't have to, right? So dip your toes in something. If you like circle prospecting, fine, go sign up for Red X, make the calls, go door knock, things like that, but be consistent, right? If you're going to do a geographic farm, you have to be consistent, right? 6 months of mailing to a neighborhood is not going to result in anything for you. A year might, 2 years will, right? So you've got to be consistent with your actions. You got to find your groove, whatever methodology or system works for you, lean into that, right? I don't like cold calling, not going to work for me, right? I know agents here locally, they love it. They have a little standing desk, they have a headset, and they're just click, 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 smile and dial, smile and dial, smile and dial, and they make good money. But there's a lot of rejection in that. That's why I don't like it, because he's having like 30 and 60-second conversations, and as soon as he gets to know, okay, then thank you, on to the next one. Why are you going to take me off the list? Okay, click that button, take them off the list. So there's a lot of, up and down with that, but it is what it is. These people are dedicated to it, and they make it work. I I'm hesitant to talk about expireds in the MLS because we have so few of them, and I know there are a ton of agents around here that work expireds. But there is the thinking that these are people who want to sell, right? Or else they wouldn't have had their house listed to begin with. So why didn't it sell? You know, was the price too high? Was the marketing not great? Did the listing agent use iPhone photos? You know, did they use Polaroids? I mean, my God, some of these photos we see still today. You know, it's like, where did you get that camera? You know?
I can't believe how many don't use professional photos.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
The article I read right before COVID, I think it was a 2018 or 2019 article, from Riz Media or Realtor Magazine or something. Basically, agents who use professional photography earn 6 times the income of agents who don't. And I don't know if that number is true, but I'm going to keep trotting it out until someone tells me otherwise. And they're very affordable. You know, for $150, you can get a handful of high quality photos. You know, and there are lots of companies around town we work with, Upright Exposures, Zuhair Ali, and you know, we're always pleased with the professional photos.
What was it? Upright exposure?
Upright Exposures. And again, just like you guys are my clients too, just like I said, Jeff Wu, he's an agent. You know, if you need anything, I need a recommendation to a lawn guy, I need a recommendation for, we're here to help you. Right? So feel free to reach out, you know, and if we don't know, we'll tell you, hey, post it in the office group, or, oh, go talk to Kathy Haller. Oh, let's get a name and number from Katie Zarpis. We know that, you know, that person has that contact, that person has that contact, you know. I think it's only maybe you and me, Jenny, but like the king of EFIS inspections here in Virginia Beach was Bill Horstman. He retired. So now we're like, okay, who do we know? So now, so like we're having to go and scramble and talk to other agents. It's like, who are you using for EFIS now? Because Bill was like the king for 30 years. And if Bill Horstman, it's like E.F. Hutton, when Bill Horstman said it, you take it to the bank kind of thing. You know, because he was never wrong. And it's like, okay, who's the new Bill Horstman for this inspection kind of thing? And so, you know, we're still figuring out who's vying to take that crown kind of thing. But, you know, we've got all these people that we've used. We've also got a list of people that we will never use again. So always check with us on that, because there are some people out there that just are not reliable. Some other notions. Community. This is a big one for me. Get involved in your community. Right? There are various groups that you can be part of. There are the JCs, the Kiwanis, the Rotary, the BNI, Chamber of Commerce, your Civic League or HOA. You know, these are all great places to meet people, because again, this is a contact sport. The more contacts you have with people, the larger your database with meaningful relationships in them, the larger your opportunity for business, right? And I can't tell you the number of times I've gone to a chamber meeting or something like that, and you know, I run across someone and you know, have a great conversation with them, and then inevitably within a month or two, somebody has a need. I'm like, you know what? I just met this person who works at Dominion Energy, or they work at this place. Let me call them and see if I can help solve the issue that you're having. And that conversation with the person from the chamber is, hey, it was great to meet you a couple of weeks ago. I have a client that has this issue. Who do you recommend I talk to? Right? Because I'm not going to assume they're the ones going to fix the problem. But I have a problem. I have your number. Who do you recommend I talk to? And they're not going to tell me call the 800 number. They're going to say, you know what, send me an email and I'll forward it over to the head of that department and make sure you get a call back. Right? He's now retired, but I had a great friend in Rotary, Max Bartholomew, who was very, 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 very senior at Dominion Power. Like he was so senior that he still had business cards that said VEPCO. That's how long he'd been with them and risen through the ranks. And anytime I had a problem with someone, like, I remember one time there was a property that had been a rental that, that I had buyers buying, and Dominion would not turn on power because there was an outstanding balance of a couple $1,000s
Hmm.
from the previous tenant or owner or whatever. And I'm like, not my people's problem.
Right?
You know, we need this place lit up so we can have inspections. So I called Max and I said, Max, I said, here's my issue. You know, give me a number, name a number of someone to talk to. Now, Jeremy, I'll handle it. It's like, no, Max, please, for the love of God, you know, you sit at the right hand of the CEO. I don't need you to do this. Please tell me who to call. And I'll say, Max Bartholomew said you. He's like, nope, just send me an email. I will take care of it. And I swear to God, within an hour, I was getting a call from someone with manager behind their name at Dominion Power, and the problem was, we got someone going out right now to read the meter and get it turned on for you. You know, so those kinds of relationships are very powerful. And, you know, not only did I look like a rock star to my clients, I looked like a rock star to the other agent. Because that other agent had been fighting with Dominion because they're calling the 800 number and things like that. So community networking, community involvement is always great. The public likes to see realtors doing stuff, right? They think we drive around in Bentleys and we earn $1 million a year because all they watch is HGTV and it's selling Sunset, $1 million listing, and all of us have great skin like Ryan Searhant, and we all have size 0 dresses like whatever her name is in LA. And that's not true, right? In this market, we have maybe 10 realtors who are living that life. The rest of us are working, right? Some of us may have Mercedes, some of us have Audis, some have Toyotas, some drive Bentleys, you know. But when the consumers out there see you volunteering at a homeless shelter or see you cleaning up the side of the road, not court ordered, of course, seeing you do a clean the beach day, clean the bay day or something like that, or planting trees with Lynnhaven River Now or something like that, they're like, oh, wow, you know, Katrina's really involved in the community. She's doing good work. You know, I like that, right? They're not going to buy or sell a house because you decided to go paint the side of a building at a homeless shelter, but that's going to add to what I call your stock value, right? That's going to increase the perception of you as a trusted, likable person. And oh, by the way, those other volunteers probably have houses that they want to buy and sell. And I've done that through Rotary. I've done that through a lot of organizations over the years. It's not immediate. I was probably in Rotary for 5 years before I had my first client that came out of Rotary. But I've done a lot of business, and there's other agents, other realtors in my Rotary Club. Because I was always showing up. When it was clean the bay day, I was cleaning the bay. I was out there scrubbing ducks and everything, put my whole heart into it. And my fellow Rotary Club members like, hey, Jeremy's a hard worker. He collected the most trash off the beach. You know, they see that. People are paying attention. I think, Jenny, you've done a good job with community involvement. You've jumped right in with Lake Taylor Auxiliary. And I don't think you generated any business directly from it just yet, have you?
I do have lots of conversations about real estate and it will come.
Mhm.
It's just, you know,
Yeah.
unlike Rotary, it may not happen for
Right.
years.
But you're doing good work. You have contacts through that organization, you know, so like specifically if anyone needs like a gross ton of plywood, we got a guy. That, you know, but things like that, it's like, you know, but also having the contacts at Lake Taylor, you know, being able to say, oh, okay, yeah, so no, you don't want to talk to the front desk, you want to talk to this person over here at admissions, you know, so, you know, Jenny has now specialized knowledge about that organization. So if anyone needs rehab or long-term care, you know, Jenny now has some insight into that. Say, oh, you know what, call this person, they're the best person to talk to over there. You know, or within the auxiliary, it's like, oh, you know what? You know, I have a client that has this need, so-and-so that I serve with on this board, they can help with that. Lets me make the connection. PTAs are all great. I don't think any of us have school-age children.
Katrina does.
Katrina, you have children? Okay, PTAs are great. You know, bake sales are great. as we saw the other day, Girl Scout cookies are great.
The Girl Scout cookies, I need some right.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
call Ryan. Call Ryan. You can host a seminar. We've started doing that for seniors, but first-time home buyers. On any given year, anywhere between 40 and 50% of buyers in the marketplace are first-time home buyers. You know, so you could do a first-time home buyer seminar, and John or Kim would be happy to work with you on that. You could target apartment complexes and other rentals, right? Sometimes what someone's paying in rent far exceeds what they could get a mortgage for, you know, and they may have been shut out of the opportunity. Here's another thought. If you can do a virtual event on Zoom, and this is going to be kind of ironic to say, let's do an online event and talk about online fraud. But a lot of people out there don't understand the true risks of online scams and online fraud. You know, so maybe you can partner with somebody that addresses that. I know AARP has a speakers bureau. Now they specifically want to speak to seniors, but they have a free speakers bureau and they will do in-person and online seminars on a variety of topics. But one I've been to twice is about online scams and fraud and how to be on the lookout for those kinds of things. So that may be something that, you know, might work for, you know, those of us who have parents and other older folks in our lives say, you know, maybe I should take this class because I want to learn more about it so that I can talk to mom, grandma, you know, Aunt Ellen, whoever, say, okay, well, you know, Auntie, I just took this class and here's what they said to look out for, kind of thing. So that may work even for, you know, your regular clients. You know, it's like, I know what it is. Well, do you know how to talk to your parents about it? Kind of thing. You know how to talk to your kids about it. There's another one. Talk about risks online. Open houses. They can be great, right, Katrina? They can also be hell, right, Katrina?
Yes.
You have a hellish open house.
Yes.
Well, it was great until it wasn't. So open houses are a great way, especially as we're going into warmer spring weather. You know, people are going to be out and about. We have a lot of great listings that come through this office, always have. You know, for the 20+ years I've been here, we've always had great listings. We've had a lot of dogs in this office, but we tend to have a lot of really nice listings that come through here. And, you know, I'm not interested in holding open houses, but if you want to hold one of my listings open, happy to have you do that. I've been out showing property. I remember specifically there was a house in Kings Grant. I had buyers going through. It was an open house, and it was a Wainwright agent. I remember that. And you know, we're going through the house, but I'm listening to this Wainwright agent talk to the people that came in right behind us. Just like, okay, this guy got game. You know, how's he doing this? Let's, you know, see, is he going to be the, you know, just the stupid open house host? Like, come in, look around, I'll be over here. You know, and he had just the right amount of contact with them. He wasn't like in their business, but he wasn't also like totally hiding in the corner. And that's a delicate balance. You gotta read the people that you're with on that.
Alexa, 5 minutes on the timer.
Yes, Alexa, 5 minutes.
5 minutes, starting now.
And you want to, you know, engage them. And he had, you know, he had game. He had a good conversation with them. They were asking lots of good questions about the house. He knew everything there was to know about the house. He had a lot of good information about the neighborhood and recent sales. And I remember walking out of that house with my buyers going like, well, we're not making an offer on this house because he just sold it to those people. I was sold on what he was saying, is how good he was. And those buyers seemed to just glom onto him, and they seemed very excited about the house. I don't know who they were. I don't know if they actually bought the house, but In my mind, he sold that house to them that day. Now, the bad news. Roughly 2% of homes sell as a result of an open house. But it is a great way to get exposure.
Good job, Katrina. You were in that 2%, right? Dang, that's good.
So we mainly do open houses as a means to generate ancillary business, right? If we sell that house, great. But if we make a connection to someone else, maybe a neighbor who's thinking about selling.
Yeah.
And they like you, at least you can get the appointment and interview for that job.
It's surprising how many people are unrepresented in an open house, going to an open house.
So let me tell you my story. In 2001, we were living in Alexandria, Virginia, Jan and I, and I grew up here. I grew up in real estate and construction. I know how this works, but we were beginning to think about buying a place. Fixing to get ready, as I said. And so we would pop into open houses every so often just to check things out. What is this? And we were looking at condos. It's like, what does this condo community look like? What does this building look like? Does this feel like it's a good drive from here to our office kind of thing? And we saw this one open house. It was in a high-rise building, about maybe 9 or 10 stories. And this unit was on the 7th floor. It was nice. It was very small and very dated on the western side of Alexandria. But we fell in love with the agent holding it open. It was the Colonel, Charlie T. Search. Colonel Search, retired Army.
That was his name?
That was his name, Colonel
Okay.
Search. And
Perfect
I
name.
know.
right, and he kind of reminded me of Harry Morgan off MASH. Remember the Colonel there? Older guy, kind of grumbly, voice, but still very grandfatherly, right? Because this guy was at least 100 years old when I met him, and he still did 20 years of business after that. And Jan and I just like, we really like him. And I was like, I think we do. It's like, I think we might want to buy a house from Colonel Search, and we did, and then when it came time to sell, when we moved back down here, Colonel, we're ready to get out of Dodge. Let's sell the place, So open houses work. We didn't buy that condo, but I found my agent there.
Right.
And I think it's probably because he reminded me of my grandfather. Just that sort of, grumble graciousness, I guess I'll call it. So, they can work. And again, that's that know, like, and trust kind of thing. If you work with the office with open houses, they'll set up a Facebook event with you, or you can do it yourself. There's all kinds of marketing collateral on the Long and Foster page. And speaking of within Long and Foster, social media, all kinds of social media assets. We email them out here from the office.
They're doing a social media thing right now.
Yeah, pay attention to
On Friday
Success Path. They have a couple of great social media classes coming out.
morning, 5 classes, and I
Mhm.
think there was tomorrow morning's the second.
And then also, just to sort of wrap it up, I haven't gotten to all the notes I wanted to, but another great note is videos. And David, I know you're awesome with the videos. So if you all are on social media, follow David Osorio. It helps if you speak Spanish, because I can't understand half your videos because I don't speak Spanish, but you look good doing them, and I'm gonna buy whatever you're selling. But here's the thing, you're struggling for content? Use the monthly item of value letter that gets sent out. And say, hey, everyone, this just came out. Long and Foster's doing this, saying this. Here's what we're going to talk about this week. Off you go. Right? Summarize an article that you read in the Realtor magazine or House Beautiful or HGTV.com. Hey, I just read this. And there are people, if TikTok, this is going to be around next week. There are people on TikTok that have made money just reading the news. I remember seeing an interview with this one young lady. She just sort of reads the news and gives her opinions every so often, and she's making money. you know, so you can say, hey, I just saw this cool article on, you know, HGTV, the color of the year is Sherwin-Williams such and such, you know, and then describe the color because you can get that information off Sherwin-Williams, you know, or whatever. There's always a Pantone color of the year. Benjamin Moore does a color of the year. Behr at Home Depot does a color of the year. Little things like that, you know. You don't always have to be the agent with the iPhone when I'm touring a house, you know, but there's some of that that helps. You know, you've done some great videos yourself with the open houses. But it could just be simple as sitting there in front of your phone or in front of your computer saying, hey, there was this great article that came out, you know, I thought I would share it with you. I'm gonna put the link in the comments. Let me know your thoughts, or if there's some call to action you can give them, hey, you know, comment below and tell me what your favorite color is. Helps if that's what you're talking about, color and things like that. All right, so any thoughts? We have just a few minutes. I want to ask if anyone has any thoughts or recommendations of things that have worked well for them, or things that maybe have gone sideways and you would never do again. Anyone?
Mhm.
David, I'm going to come to you specifically. Your videos, how has that worked for you? Do you get much engagement? Have you gotten any direct business as a result?
So I'm kind of like seeing results now, like getting leads, and I'm trying to turn those leads into buyers this year. So I mean, I just started like doing it like 3 months ago. So
Okay.
just like you were saying, I think I have to be consistent, but I'm getting engagement. I'm getting like more followers, and people are kind of like, they're like, oh, you're the guy that's making the video. So people start following you, and basically, you know, sometimes you bump into them, you know, in network events or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, and then I'm doing digital marketing. So I'm trying to like, I'm paying for like those ads. It's not that expensive, but you know, you probably pay $30 and you can get exposure to like 10,000 people in your area.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, very affordable and relatively easy to boost something on Instagram or Facebook. You know, so $30, even $10, you know, especially like your open house event, go ahead and spend $10. You're gonna blow that on a latte anyway, so
Mhm.
you know, spend it on some marketing, right? And boost the event and, you know, put it out to people in that immediate area. So in addition to my notes, you know, everyone follows Jeremy CRS. They just had a post yesterday, as it were, 5 tips for reaching out to new clients. Have CMA consultations was number 1. Start a blog or a new newsletter was number 2. Reach out to past clients was number 3. Get involved in the community was number 4. And number 5 of their 5 tips, consistent marketing efforts. Everybody loves what I have to say. Always copying. No, there's nothing new under the sun. Nothing that I have said is original, except my personal stories. I repeat, you know, like I said, I pulled from Tom Ferry today, Mike Ferry, Brian Buffini. You know, apparently I pulled from CRS before they got around to telling me that I was pulling from them. So I'm always going to tell you where I got it from. I'm not going to tell you that, oh, I'm a genius and I made all this up and I'm great. But what I can tell is that I have been doing most of these things in some fashion, testing them out. And, you know, there are certain things I like, certain areas where I see there's opportunity for someone who's dedicated to a system and wants to put in the work. But it's all a matter of finding your groove. But the number one most important thing is this is a contact sport, right? Right now, people are sitting in their homes with this snow, just like we did in COVID, going like, I do not like where I live, you know, or I need to renovate. You know, I don't like the color of my walls. This time to paint, right? Well, guess what? Ken just posted a video about the color of the year from Behr, so maybe we should follow and take his advice on, you know, what to paint our house. And oh, by the way, maybe he has a painter he can recommend. So people are thinking about these things. And so, you know, don't let people forget who you are. Don't be a secret agent. Don't be obnoxious with it, but don't be a secret agent. All right. Any other thoughts or questions for the good of the order? All right, I appreciate everyone. Good to see you.
Thank
Stay warm,
you.
stay safe, be careful of the ice.
Will do.
All right, bye.